First of all, Coach, talk about these summer practices, kind of what you want the team to get done in these few weeks.
Well, with a lot of veterans returning, we want to work on their skill, and we also want them to. We've done more team things, just with guys back. We'll do some different things with our team this year, and we've slowly implemented a few of those things. But I really want the guys to work on their skill, passing, dribbling, shooting. To improve in the areas that each individual player needs to improve in.
How different is it? A team like this, usually you're trying to get, new guys used to the system. You've got so many guys that, this is basically the team, from a year ago.
It's different. We haven't had 10 guys come back, I think, ever in my career as a coach, head coach, assistant coach. It's a lot of guys. It's a different kind of challenge to go from being the hunter to the hunted, and hopefully we're embracing that.
Okay. What have you seen, are there any guys in particular or several guys that you've really seen them kind of step up their game thus far?
I think Miles Dixon and Jaron Young have had really good summers. We've had some guys banged up with injury, but I thought those two guys have had really good summers. Kendall has been really solid, Reggie, Tavares, those five have been pretty good. And, but Jaron, I'm really been pleased, especially with Miles's growth. He's been here now 1 full year, and we joke all the time with him about where he started to where he is now. He's got a lot to be proud of, and if he keeps going at this rate, he has a chance to have a really special senior year.
Okay. You talked about going from being the hunter to the hunted. Is there something that you have to do differently with this group, or just kind of let them know and remind them, hey, every moment that you guys are practicing, the other teams are working even harder to try to, catch up with you guys, or anything like that?
I think Mike Krzyzewski, Coach Krzyzewski, says this a lot. I follow him on Twitter, and he puts it out there. It's, if you're still pleased with what you've done yesterday, you're not getting anything done today. And I think for our team that's important. If our guys, my job is to make sure that we're committed to working, and understanding why we had a good season. We had a good season last year because guys were really committed this time last year, and we've got to be that same way moving forward. So yeah, as a coach, I'm always trying to find how can this team play differently, areas that we need to improve upon. Certainly our offensive production, our shooting has to improve in order for us to be good. Some different things defensively to adjust to. There's been some minor rule changes that we have to get ready to adjust to. So. All those things we're working on addressing. We're addressing now, or coming up with philosophies to address when the guys come back in the fall.
Are you going to expect more out of like Miles and Reggie and Jaron this year compared to their roles last season? Everybody's
role, you have to expect more. They've been in the program. You don't want them to repeat mistakes. But I think you have to be careful. I think one of the reasons why last year's team was successful is nobody cared about who got the glory. I would think that we had a lot of guys that went unnoticed, that maybe didn't get recognized by the league that probably should have, but that's part of it. But nobody cared. And now when you come back and your team had some success, is that still who we are, where no one cares who gets the glory, or do we get involved with stats, all conference kinds of things? That can't matter. The only thing that needs to matter is, are we going to win the championship? And I think that's another area where guys have to be held accountable, and they have to hold each other accountable.
How big was that last year to have, it seemed like any given day, any one player could, be the difference and make the big shot, or just have a big game in general?
Well, I think it made it hard for the opponent, because it was really hard to focus on a certain player in scouting. And certainly it was a challenge for our staff, because it's not like, even I use Game 6 with Miami. San Antonio, when Miami made a big run in Game 6 at the end of the game, Dwayne Wade was on the bench. But with 3 minutes to go, Dwayne Wade was back in the game because he's Dwayne Wade, and you're going to play him. He's got a history of success. With our team, we didn't have a Dwayne Wade. We had a lot of good players, but every night it was different in terms of who was going to finish. And based on last year with everybody back, I don't think that's going to change much. And what's important is, as coaches, we do a good job within the game figuring out who needs to stay and play, and the kids need to stay involved and, again, not let their own egos get the best of them.
Anything else you want to add about this team or this summer?
No, just, it's great. Wright State's an incredible campus. It's a beautiful place to be during the summer. We've got one of the best facilities around, and, you know, just working every day with with the fellow coaches and people within the campus community is, you know, like I tell everybody, I don't work for a living. I get to do something I love with great people. So it's always a lot of fun in the summer.